Good morning, welcome everybody to the Winship County Members Board meeting. Today is March 14th, 2023. It's 10:03 a.m. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to rise and say pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you mind leading us?
Sure, would you all please continue to stand. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the blessings that you deliver to us each and every day. Be with the individuals in this room, give them the strength to do the work that needs to be done. Always be looking over our first responders and be with our men and women in the service scattered around the world, keeping us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
First item on our agenda today is the consent agenda. You guys had a chance to look at the minutes and reports.
Move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Razor.
Yeah.
We have public comment at this point.
I'd like to speak.
You guys are you with the PROACT resolution?
I am with, there's a proposal to change the national forest into a Shawnee National Park, and I would like to speak on that.
Okay, sure.
My name is Justin Lawrence. I'm the president of the Heartland.
If you would stand
on the golden days.
Okay.
What was your name again, sir?
My name is Justin Lawrence. I'm the president of the Heartland Mule Riders Association and co-vice president for the Associated Saddle Club of Southern Illinois. We put on the organization of the 9-day trail ride around Polk County. There's an organization of a group of people led by Sam Stearns, John Wallace, and Les Winkler, some of the head runners for this, want to change our national park into Shawnee National Park. If you remember those names, when Marion wanted to do their watershed lake, there are some of the front runners that fought against you guys on that. They fought years ago against trail running in Shawnee. This is another attempt against that, basically. It's a new way, but it's the same agenda technically. They say when they change it to a national park, we want to change anything other than they're claiming the Shawnee National Forest Service is clear cutting the forest and destroying the habitat. When you talk to them, the Forest Service does not clear cut. They do a select cut to minimize the invasive species, to make way for oak, hardwoods habitat for the wildlife. It's necessary for what we have. They're also against prescribed burning. It's been proven that prescribed burning is a great thing that helps put nutrition back in the ground. Also, we learned in the national parks where there isn't as much prescribed burning, you can see how they burn rapidly in the Great Smoky Mountains, Yellowstone, something like such as that. They are one to bring back some prescribed burning as well as select cutting in some parks because they realize if they don't, habitat goes away, it's not a good thing. But this organization is against it. They don't want that to happen. Horseback riding, hunting is a big revenue for Southern Illinois. When you look at there's out-of-state hunters, horseback riding question, it's amazing how many people come here. I've spoken with businesses here, Doug Sporting Goods store, McKinney's Western store, spoke with both those owners. They say if this happens, their businesses will be directly impacted in a negative way. McKinney's Western store, he told me it's amazing. You can look at our parking lot from spring to fall. The out-of-state trucks that come through there for this specific reason is amazing. It's unreal the business he has and feels that it will be taken away. So they're really concerned about it. They appreciate you guys. If you're interested to speak with them, and then they're very concerned. They say hunting will not go away. They say national parks allow hunting. If you look at the national parks, they do have quite a bit of ground that's available to hunting. Most of it is in the state of Alaska, very limited in the 48 states. They do not give those statistics out when they're proposing this thing. And it's very restricted fees. And it's unreal on the fees and the passes you have to have where we enjoy it now for free. There you can't. There's another thing that they call eminent domain, because the Shawnee National Park forest right now is so scattered across Southern Illinois, mixed in with private land, the Park Service would be impossible for them to sell passes and day fees because they could not regulate the entry. There's so many entry points right now. So if you go around and you look, eminent domain was used in the Shenandoah, Mammoth Cave, Great Smoky Mountains, national parks, as well as other areas. When they take over, if they form one of these, then they go in, they forcibly can take private land from you, use eminent domain. That way they can seal up where the land is scattered right now. They could, if they want to form one body of land, that would be the steps that they would have to take. Right now, nearly 1 million people annually visit the Shawnee Forest. They say it's going to increase tourism. That's a hard number to match. If you take away hunting, horseback riding, and you start putting fees on it, and all those go away, businesses start suffering. How are you going to match that? What are you going to do for your business that's going to negatively impact right here in your hometown? It's a great concern for us. The restrictions on hunting, people around here enjoy mushroom hunting. You have to look up the fees in every park because a different one changes. For example, if a mushroom growing on the side of a dead tree that's standing, they can write you a ticket for picking it. And the other areas, you can't pick them at all. Some you have to make sure that the tree is growing on the ground, or if it's a dead log, you can pick that one. I mean, it's unreal the restrictions you have to have. Pets normally are not allowed. People like to hike right now in the forest with their pets. You have to look what trails are designated, if at all, for pets. They say that none of that stuff is going to change. I think they need to take a little bit closer look on the research. You can look up the Shawnee Forest Defense's website, and they have a lot of facts on what they claim is facts. That's their website. They put out stuff. You need to take a really close look at some of the facts, because some of the stuff it takes a little bit more research to actually get facts of what's exactly there. They have put out that this was as a home-based idea right here in Southern Illinois. Spartanville got a big push for it. Our question is, if it's just here and local, how come when you click donate now when they're wanting donations and you read down where they want? I have it right here. The Global Justice Ecology Project is where they want their check wrote out to, and it's got a New York address or what you send funds in New York. What does the state of New York have to do with Southern Illinois if this is the home right here in the grassroots? How come we're sending donations out there? A lot of questions we don't understand. So our question is, why, if we can enjoy the Shawnee now, with hunting, horseback riding, it's a big tourist draw for us. We don't have to worry about the fees to enter it. We have our private land mixed out there. We enjoy Southern Illinois. We live here for a specific reason. Why would we change to a national park? We have to pay possibly fees. If it goes to a park, they say there's nothing we can guarantee that eminent domain will be implemented here. There's also nothing that says it won't be. We won't know until it's too late. They say hunting and horseback riding will possibly be allowed, but we won't know if it's allowed until it's too late. Are we willing to gamble and risk what we enjoy here in Southern Illinois, our business, our livelihood, our homes? I encourage everyone to do their research on it and make a very informed decision before when they say it's look up facts, they ask you to go to their website, and that's their information they put together. I encourage you to go Google these things, look up different park services, the way they're run, the way the Forest Service is ran, make an informed decision, because it will directly impact businesses. I've met with Mike Bost. I had a sit down meeting with him. He told me, he said this will kill Southern Illinois. I spoke with Patrick Whitmore, state representative. I spoke with his office, Paul Jacobs. They stand with Mike Bost. They said we have to protect Southern Illinois. We have to protect our businesses and our livelihood here. So I have letters from Saline County Board, as well as City of Goreville, who passed resolutions against this proposal, and keep it the way it is.
Copies of those?
Yes, sir. Goreville, Saline counties. I have a
Julie, can you make a copy?
here's the thing we put together with some bullet points you guys can look over, and some research that we put together on that. Just, it took a lot of research to get that from a lot of websites, trying to put together a small area so you guys can look it up. I encourage you to Google it, do your research. It's very interesting to change it.
Well, Justin, I'm very familiar with this. We had Mr. Winkler in a few months back. And, we listened to his proposal. He had a video for us to watch. First off, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to come and address the board. This is a very important thing that we're talking about. And I did look it up and I did talk to my boss about this. He told me the exact thing that you just mentioned about the main difference between a national forest and a national park. And if I could read, this is from the National Forest Foundation, a quote by Gifford Pinchot, which was the first chief of the National Forest Service. The National Forest land is managed to provide the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people in the long run. Where the National Park is managed to preserve everything as is. And you are correct. Be able to hunt, you would be able to fish, and Mr. Winkler did say you would be able to. I've seen.
He clearly said
He
that.
clearly said that you'd be able to ask, so what about camping? Because you would be, you'd be able to do all of that. I don't think so. I think differently from what I've done my research on. I think you're 100% dead on. And just speaking for myself, not for the board here. I would be in favor of maintaining that National Forest Service designation. So I don't know about the other two gentlemen. They don't say anything.
Jim, would you like to say something?
First, thanks for coming in. We've had a couple of phone conversations. It's good to see you in here. This is something that since you kind of sparked it, I've heard of this coming around or the potential for this and started my own research. I will be speaking with Mr. Boss' office this afternoon, kind of urged on by our conversation. Are you looking for something from the board?
What we were asking, we were going to town council and county commissioner boards, we asked for a letter, form of a resolution, and sent to Congress. My boss, involved though, had sent to Tammy Duckworth or Dick Durbin. My boss, as we just said, is definitely on board with this, with just like a letter showing him that he has support down here, that if it does go to Congress, he's got support from town and counties that's going to be directly impacted. And when he goes up there and voices his opinion, it's not from people from Northern Illinois saying what Southern Illinois needs. It's Southern Illinois speaking up for themselves. And then we just asked for a letter to be sent to Congress and in opposition of this, and support, the report that stands. The two letters I gave you was the two letters I have in hand. We've got other towns getting on board with us. My boss is supposed to be sending us a letter. That way people can see that instead of me just verbally telling you he's against it. I'll have a letter in hand with his signature on it saying he's against it. And
Would you forward that to us when you have?
I did call Mr. Winkler after he was here, a few days afterwards, after I did the same thing, looked to go find out, talking with Mr. Moss. I told him, I said, this board's not really interested in making, or supporting that resolution. There were no other counties that I know of that were in support of it.
there's only two towns that I know that passed resolutions in favor of him. That's Carpendale and the city of Pyramid. I've heard that. I know there's some research going back into Caraville, just learn more about that, but I heard they passed one.
I think it was before the Harrisburg City Council this week as well, or maybe later this week. I think I heard that.
I'm on the agenda to speak with Harrisburg later on.
You guys got anything else? Thank you. It's very difficult to stand up here in front of us like that.
If you're interested, I have a contact number with my phone number on it, as well as the president of the Associated Saddle Clubs. And if the board does decide they'd like to send a letter, we're working with this organization right here, Charlie Trail Conservancy, and they just ask if you'd develop, a copy. That way we can just present it just like this to them. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Is JD Mathis here?
He's the president of the Associated Saddle Clubs. I'm the vice president, and he was unable to attend this meeting.
Is there any other public comment?
Yeah, sure.
I had talked to Jim this morning already. I live on Decatur Road, 9847.
And right there at the corner of Decatur Road and Crenshaw is my neighbor. And there's two old rundown house trailers. I think they only live in one. As far as I know, his mother is living with him and another woman is there. But the place is an eyesore. And my property actually surrounds his. I have 7.8 acres and he's got like 2/10 of an acre there. I think there's like 7 vehicles in the yard. He drives one, maybe 2 of them that I know of. 2 are up on a jack with a wheel removed. He's got a pile of rubble in the yard. He told me at one time, I talked to him, that he used to scrap trailers for the money, to recycle the metal. And I said, yeah, there's a bunch of tires down here in this ditch on my property. Oh, well, I didn't put those there. Well, of course he didn't. I have no way of proving that. And there's a bunch of trash and rubble that he is just, I don't know how long he's been there. I've been there, it'll be 7 years in May. So he's been there far longer than that, I'm sure. But I don't know, I've talked to, I was directed to by County Health, talked to Tony McIntyre there. And this has been like 6 years ago. He said, yeah, we're working on that. And the tires are still there and it's on my property. The thing is, if I raise a stink about it, I'm probably going to be the one that's going to have to clean up the tires. Unless there can be something done about it. I didn't put the tires there. They've been there for quite a while. It's probably like maybe a ton dump truck load of tires there in the ditch. And it's it's a mosquito problem and everything else. But just the eyesore of the place and really the neighborhood. I mean, it could be a lot of cleaning up. On around on Decatur Road, they have sold all these tracts of property and there's some pretty high dollar homes built out there. I mean, without saying names, but they're all new houses and they're, like I said, pretty high dollar homes. I don't know if there's anything that could be done. There's county ordinances to enforce, cleaning up places like this, but they're all over. I mean, as well as Jim said, we've got them all over the county.
There are.
Yeah, but it's adjoining my property and like I said, I have no proof that he has dumped all that stuff there, but it's really nice to work. If anything can be done, I've got pictures if you want to see any pictures, tires and the rubble down the side of the hill.
Can you send that to us in email?
Sure I could.
We'll get your email and send it to us.
Can I do that? And I'll talk to our state's attorney about it as well. See, maybe there's something we're not thinking of, that we can check.
And I want to be a good neighbor as much as possible. And the guy here a couple of years ago, he had a utility trailer load of firewood. And rather than asking me if he could back it across my right of way where I mow, he just gets out there and we'd had like a couple inches of rain earlier that week. Well, he run it up, got the truck stuck and I asked him, I said, well, what were you thinking? Oh, well, I don't know. I just, okay. But I mean, that's what I'm dealing with.
What was your name, sir?
Wes Russell.
I know you said a truckload of tires. Can you just give me an estimate of how many tires we're talking about?
I'll show you a picture.
Sure.
Well, this is one of the pictures of the road down the side, down the hillside behind this trailer on my property. More stuff there. Okay. There's the tires.
Les, thank you. Each of our cards have our emails on there.
Okay.
So if you would download the pictures and then send an email to us, that way I'll get something to show.
You said you did talk to Tony McIntyre
Yes, I did.
6 years ago.
Probably around that. Yeah.
Send me your contact information. I'll give Tony a call.
Okay.
All right.
Sure will. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Any more public comment? Moving on, what's that? Hey, Dave. Moving on. Highway Department, we have resolution, total acceptance, Travis, you'll be just, hold that on, please.
So, last week we opened bids for our annual, maintenance, material maintenance issues and, so resolution in front of you guys, 2303-1463, is to approve the acceptance of those, low bids. Just to kind of give you guys an idea, of what this economy is doing to our ability to continue to maintain and improve our roads. Our polymer oil that we use now to shoot with our oil chip, our oil chip program went up 60 cents a gallon. That's a solid 20% increase in cost. That is going to directly result in less roads this year being improved. Fortunately, Winston County is in pretty good shape right now. We've worked hard over the last few years to use the polymer, and that's kind of greatly increase our life of our roads, but it is costing more money. The emulsified asphalt, the HFE 300 that we use to make band to build up the edges and repair with it, and it's about 60 cents a gallon also, which is about 20%. Rock in general has went up about $4 a ton. Just to give you an example, last year, CA10 delivered to our yard was $9.17 a ton. This year it's $13.74.
How many times have you done?
Last year we probably purchased around 10 or 12,000 tons. The year before that, we received it cheaper. We bought 25,000 tons, fulfilled the full contract. And so the last couple of years, we've stocked up when it was cheaper. So hopefully, my current plan is this year to replace what we use and keep our
You
stockpiles.
just stock the same.
Yeah.
There's a lot 2 years ago.
Right. And then next year, hopefully things will get better. We'll see. If it doesn't, then we'll follow that same, we just got to maintain a certain level there. You never know when you're getting a flood or the world washed out. So we need to keep a good stockpile of breath and rock on hand. So anyway, yeah, we actually usually go in January on this bid. We waited until March this year, basically on advice from the oil companies that maybe wasn't so far from the bid and gives a better price. Not sure that worked out, but we got to have the product, and so I'm asking the board to approve these purchases.
You guys got a question?
Move to accept resolution 2303-1463.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson?
Yes.
Jim Marlowe?
Yeah.
Jim Razor?
All right. Anything else, guys?
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody have any old business?
I'm going to bring up, Mayor, you will bring that up under old business or under budgeting and strategic?
It doesn't matter. If you want to wait for budget strategic, that's fine. Did you have something for old business?
Just want to remind the board that, I talked to Ray about this, the move to send,
Oh, Robertson.
Robertson, a letter, talked with Red about it this morning. We haven't been able to secure any contract that they might add. So I think the idea is we send them a letter, stating them, they'd have maybe 2 weeks to produce any contract that might be outstanding or something. And if not, then, at the end of that time, then they can reserve their opinion at that time. And so put the pressure on them to find a contract this year. Everyone I've talked to says they can't find a contract. So I assume there's not one. Robertson even said, I guess they had sold to a new owner that owns it now. And if there was a contract, it was a prior contract with the prior owner, not since it's expired. So talking with him, that's the direction. It's directing letter saying, if you guys have a contract, you'll have 2 weeks to produce the contract. If not, then we'll move forward. So,
Reproduce a letter also. Any other old business? Okay. Moving on to new business. The discussion and selection of RFQ for animal control projects. Is anybody here for that today? We're gonna have a meeting tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. actually to discuss that. So that will carry on until tomorrow. We have a resolution for a ProAg resolution. We did this last year.
I think so.
I think we've done this every year.
I'm going to try to contact with, Mr. Lance Martin. Lance, you have something you want to say about this?
Yes,
Stand on
yeah.
the podium and address the board?
Yes. Thank you guys for giving us time here to address the board today. Got Lee Beaster here. He's on the Williamson County Farm Bureau Board. He's the treasurer, and he's also a farmer here in the county. Get my date right here. March 21st is National Ag Day, and what a fantastic time to celebrate all things ag in Williamson County. And we've got a ag resolution here. And does everybody have a copy? I've got copies if you want it. Okay. And just, Williamson being probably the most urban county in Southern Illinois outside the Metro East, it's still agriculture is a huge part of it, very important. And we're just here today to support everything ag and to go through the resolutions. You guys got any questions for me or Lee or?
So there are 2,065 jobs in this county for that. That amazes me. There's that many. That's impressive. I don't know if that's a big number, but it looks like a big number to me.
Yes, it is very significant. I would view that as a very significant number as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, when you go down this list of stuff here, I know you guys got the resolution. You actually have got a 1-page sheet here on all the others. Some of that's in the resolution. I can give everybody a copy.
I think what stands out to me is that we're talking about that the farm property provides 10.8% of taxable value. For Williamson County. That's a big number too.
Yes, yes.
Do you anticipate the Saline River project increasing livestock production?
Yes, I mean, with a plant that significant in size, I would think that they can source livestock more locally, closer to the plant. It's just a win-win for everybody with the transportation costs and everything, getting animals to the plant. I mean, currently, right now, everybody, if you have a number of head, it goes to Beardstown or Central North Illinois. So it makes sense to transport livestock less than an hour versus 3 to 5 hours. And yeah, hopefully that plant will, sooner the better. So,
That's the way we're looking at it.
yes.
Well, I do know that it's still in the works. I mean, the wheels are turning and they still have plans open up. I know they are still waiting to keep grants and this. They have a lot of regulations that you can't do certain things before the grants. So the rate, they do have, they got a grant from, for the US.
Yes, they had a USDA grant.
Yeah, USDA grant.
Equity.
We actually set aside $1 million of ARPA money for this project based on the economic growth and development that, we're not in this area. And even though we're blessed to have it in Williamson County, it's actually a regional
Oh, yes, yes, I
job
totally agree.
provider. So
Big boost to Southern Illinois.
if there's no other question about this, I'm more than happy to make a motion that we approve resolution number 23-03-14-64, the ProAg resolution.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yes.
Jim Razor.
Very happy to do so.
Thank you, guys. Very appreciative.
We have a agenda. We have a couple of appointments to the Williamson County Fire Protection District. Gary Hill and Rusty Baker, their terms expire, it looks like. Does anybody have any comments or questions about this?
No, I know both of these gentlemen. They're both great gentlemen. I think they're a tremendous asset on the both of these to the Williams County Fire Protection District. And, so I make a motion that we approve resolution number 23-03-14-65, Williams County Fire Protection District, to reappoint Gary Hill and Rusty Baker to their terms.
Second.
I think it commencing on today's date, due to expire April 30, 2026. And Rusty Baker will be appointed to serve a 3-year term. Same thing, commencing on today's date, due to expire April 30, 2026, so both 3-year terms.
3-year terms.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Tim Anderson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Next on the agenda, we have a travel reimbursement for Julie Linneman. Julie's going to go to a conference, and is that in Chicago, I guess, right, Julie? Springfield. Springfield, okay. All right. And you're looking for the increase in lodging to $127.88 as opposed to the $100. Okay. What are you going to do at that conference, Jill?
It's the ICMRT, the conference.
Motion to approve this travel.
Move to approve the travel reimbursement to Julie Reynolds.
Roll call, please.
Tim Anderson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yes.
Jim Razor.
All right, I got a bill for Harbor Reach today. That's from the ETSB. ETSB pays for $14,000 bill. This is something I had to do last year, paid for a $4,000 cost. Several years ago, the county agreed to pay this portion of that bill. And that is going to be everything over. If you wanted to say anything about Hyper Reach, ETSB.
Hyper Reach that's Williamson County's chosen method of disseminating emergency information, not just weather information, but any, I believe, working with the EMA director and in our conversations recently, that we're seeing that increase across the board. They've been working, that department's been working very hard to get municipalities in Williamson County to use the same service. So it's not just the automated messages coming out, but we're seeing we'll start to see more in the way of boil orders and water information and traffic information. So the value of what Williamson County is getting is increasing. Even without increasing the number of subscribers. That number is also going up. And I know they are working just as hard right now in a campaign to really ramp those numbers up. I think we'll see a big increase. And certainly the value just in, even the National Weather Service will tell you to have more than one way to get emergency information. That is one of the ways that's being pushed even at that level. So the $4,000 that we have to pay, we're certainly getting a lot of value out of that.
Brian, on Hyper Reach, can it push notifications to people who are members of Hyper Reach? Is that
Only under the iPods
only on the
provisions. Correct.
So if there were an emergency, even though a person is not, they could actually get it.
Yes, sir.
How we-
However, HyperReach is our conduit to the iPods provision. So we have to have a provider. We cannot just.
Otherwise, we can't have iPods.
Correct.
That's what I thought. So there's an underlying value. It's not just in total numbers.
Yes, sir.
I'll get to your mayor. About a week and a half ago, I sent you guys an email about the energy community transition grant. Okay, I had a meeting yesterday. I'd like you guys, if you need to, I can resend you that email. We need to start thinking about our program, we use that money for, how we're going to develop it, what it's going to be. And in the coming meeting, very quickly, we need to have a discussion about what our ideas are. Just like to remind you guys of that. There were 3 attachments to that email. And one of them was a pretty good explanation of what that money is for, what it can be used for, and then the process in which we have to go through in order to use it. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to read that. There's a lot of information on that, but there's a lot of attachments. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. Probably next week, we have the reason I'm bringing this up, we have a deadline date, May 31st, to reply to them, a process for how we're going to use it and what we're going to do. So the clock is ticking on that. Okay, Jim, we'll talk about mayor.
I do believe everyone got these estimates from the group last week in an email. Have you seen these come in? This is, to my knowledge, this would be the completion of the conversion away from the CDS network to the Mayor network. So this is kind of the core of the phone system. So we have the money set back for this in the line item for the phone. And as I crunched the numbers, if we would approve these 2 bids, we would still have a little more than $77,000 available on that line item. So we're not completely completing it. This does not include the fiber optic run. That even at the reduced rate was still a number that we can't fit inside of this. We're going to have to talk about that. But we're all commenting on where's my phone? Why doesn't my phone work yet? This is one of the steps to getting the phones to working. They installed my phone yesterday. I do have a phone now.
Yeah.
But even the installer told me this is going to say network incomplete or something until they get the network fixed. Until they get these pieces and parts, the network's not going to be fixed. So if we can approve this today, I think it's prudent. If we can't, we need to get it on an agenda soon so that we can.
So that money was actually budgeted in capital improvement line item for telephone. If I remember correctly. I don't know that we need to approve it. We should be able to just spend that
Just
money.
let them know that
Because it's already budgeted for telephone. So contingency.
You all sign off on that.
Yeah, we sign off on the claim.
but we can go ahead and give them the okay, because I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with that also. Jim, are you fine with that? Okay, then we'll pay that invoice. Because it's there, we knew it was coming.
We'll let James know that this is a go.
Right, yeah, if you'd like to let James know today that that's a go. Get the invoices in, we'll get that.
Will do.
Perfect. Brian, did you have anything you'd like to say?
I do, sir. So, as I enter my 10th month as the EMA director, I'd like to just address the board, and Pat and I would like to thank you for having the opportunity to serve the residents of Williamson County as the EMA team. We also want to thank you guys for your support. We've enjoyed overwhelming support from this board, and I want you to know that is very appreciated. A couple of things. The end of February into the beginning of March has been a very busy time for us. I just wanted to give you guys a rundown and a recap of what we've been up to so that you're aware. We've submitted our ILCAT and our integrated preparedness
Could you
plan.
tell us what those are?
Yes, sir. The ILCAT is the Illinois Identified Threat Assessment tool that we use to look at our multi-hazard mitigation plan, which identifies the 10 most relevant hazards to Williamson County. And then we further narrow that down to what do we anticipate being a threat or hazard that could happen within 24 to 36 months. So even though we have things like earthquake or dam failure on the multi-hazard mitigation plan, we anticipate severe weather, severe thunderstorms, tornadoes being more potentially impacted to the region than, say, a dam or levee failure. So as a result of that identification, IEMA requires us to continue our accreditation. They require us to write what's called an integrated preparedness plan, which means how are we going to address those threats and hazards, and what is our exercise design cycle for the next 3 years. All of those documents are due tomorrow. They have already been submitted to IEMA and they're under review I wanted to thank you guys for the EMA truck. The EMA 2 is fully stickered and outfitted and in service. And the Durango, thank you. And the Durango is decommissioned. Just to let you guys know that we are representing quarterly the Williamson County Emergency Management and Williamson County at the USP Marion Community Relations Board. Those have been a very productive meeting when we go down there and meet with them.
Is that lunch meeting down in prison?
Yes, sir.
That is good. That's a good, way to go to
We are currently working on the MOU for the earthquake staging with the IDOT representative. And through guidance from Tim, originally they had written the memorandum of understanding to where the county board was going to sign the MOU on behalf of these other entities. So we have worked with Rhett to make some language to ask them to clarify that MOU. They're wanting to stage, in the event of a catastrophic earthquake, they're wanting to stage equipment at the fairgrounds, Williamson County Fire Protection District Station 1, and the Marion Soccer Complex. Well, each one of those are owned and operated by independent boards. So through discussions with Tim and Rhett, we asked them to take that MOU back, asked IDOT to take that MOU back and write it so that each one of those independent boards accept that MOU instead of us accepting it on their behalf. So that is, the MOU is actually back in IDOT's court. I don't anticipate any pushback, but we've already reached out to Marion Parks and the county board, their county fair board, and the fire district's board to say, hey, this is coming. We're going to go ahead and meet with their boards and tell them what's going on. So when this document comes through, it's just a matter of signature of acceptance.
Tim, will we still have an overriding agreement?
We will, because we will activate it through our agency, which is governed by you.
So the call will come into us, and do we disseminate that information to them? Do they do that?
We do that.
So just looking at the chain of command there.
Yep, that'll be activated through our agency, yes. I wanted to bring up the fact that we met with Mayor Networks to discuss, let me take a step back. On our multi-hazard mitigation plan, cybersecurity was one of the threats that was identified as a hazard relevant to Williamson County. And as I was looking through our EOP, or our emergency operations plan, we do not have a cybersecurity annex at this time. So I thought, since it's identified as one of our threats and we do not have a plan, I thought, well, we need to start at home. We need to start with Williamson County and look at what our threats and vulnerabilities are here within our own 2 or 3 buildings that are associated. And I think because we have a new network provider now is a very good time to get in and start having these conversations. So I reached out to Mayor Network and they assigned an engineer to the project. His name was Doug. I can't remember his last name, I'm sorry. But I sent him over a draft proposal of an exercise, and he is very excited about this. Where I'm going to ask you guys for your assistance is in the very near future, I'm going to be reaching out to all the department heads and asking for their participation. So when they come to you and say, hey, why does the EMA director want me to do this? A couple of reasons. One, it's identified threat hazard for Williamson County. And 2, I don't believe the county government has a comprehensive cybersecurity threat plan. And that's what we want to end up with after we complete this exercise. So in the very near future, I will be forwarding you a copy of the exercise design plan for your feedback. Once we get the exercise design plan written, then I will reach out to the department heads and ask for the participations.
Right, may I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Too, whenever we get to that point, I want to check with Rhett, the attorney, to see if that meeting needs to be closed meeting.
Understood.
So because it deals with security, cybersecurity.
Yes, sir.
And we, for our protection.
I understand.
So,
Thank you.
Also, we've discussed this and never done anything or briefly discussed. I believe as of 2023, this board has to name a cybersecurity point of contact. for the state. It was a new statute that came down January 1. We've talked about that before, so we should probably get that on an agenda and done in the near future too. That would apply with what you're doing.
Wonderful. Early in March, we participated with the National Weather Service Severe Weather Week press release conference down in Belknap. We were the only EMA office short of Massac County that showed up to support the event. We also attended the Spring Weather Awareness Workshop in Paducah, which was very eye-opening. The National Weather Service is embracing climate change, and they're seeing that this climate change is causing our storms to be more frequent and more severe. So they're trying to help us push information so people are better prepared for those. You should have received an email from me that says that the EMA office received an AED from the Spark Coalition on a grant. It is in my office. I have contacted the sheriff who is working on a comprehensive project for the county to provide AEDs for every facility in the county. He's going to take a look at ours to see if this is the direction he wants to go. Same brand, same caging, same everything. If it is, then we will add our unit to his rollout. If not, we're going to put our unit in a mobile case and have it available in our vehicles so that it's available anywhere we're available. We did attend the training that the sheriff's office put on for the CPR, AED, and Stop the Bleed. We met with U of I Extension. U of I Extension has what's called a Teen CERT program. The adult CERT program it's CERT. It's Community Emergency Response Teams. And basically what they are is they're trained laypersons to identify threats or hazards in their neighborhoods with their immediate family and their immediate neighbors in the event of a disaster, and to be able to send back intelligent feedback to the responders saying, hey, my neighborhood's good, you don't need to worry about us, or hey, we've got catastrophic failures in our neighborhood. University of Illinois Extension has what's called a MyPI, and I don't understand what the shorting of that is, but it's a teen search program, and it basically engages teens in I don't want to say a watered down, let's say a less intense version of the CERT program. And we've reached out to Marion High School and to Heron High School to pilot the Teen CERT program as a club in both of those high schools. We don't have any feedback from them yet, but we have made that contact and we've reached out to them. Pat and I attend the ETSB monthly meetings. We have delivered PPE. We have finally been given clearance from IEMA that says that anything that we currently have in stores is able to go out to anybody who can use it. We want it out before it expires. So we have started by reaching out to law enforcement and fire departments, and we have so far delivered PPE to ISP Troop 10, Johnson City PD, Heron PD, Cambria PD, and Fire District. The sheriff's office and the jail and Hearst. We still have several other agencies local that we are reaching out to see if they want PPE. Once we've gone through police and fire, then we're going to move to the schools. Once we've moved through the schools, then we're going to reach out to nursing homes and other private providers. But we're trying to go with all the governmental providers before we go out to non-governmental agencies. But we are working on, we want to get it out into the hands of people who are going to use it before it expires. We just have to throw it away. Well, we can't throw it away. So, on Commissioner Razor's recommendation, we met with Johnson City yesterday. They are installing 2 brand new tornado sirens. They're anticipating that installation to be in July. And we want to partner with them during that rollout for a hyper-reach campaign, with the idea of have more than one way to get an alert. And they're on board and they're very excited about our partnership. We did have one hazmat response during the last month. We had a tanker truck, or not a tanker truck, I'm sorry. We had a tractor trailer that struck a passenger vehicle and both saddle tanks ruptured and put about 500 gallons of diesel fuel on the ground. So we did document that and send that through IEMA. Just some things that are coming up. I will be traveling to Portersville, Missouri on Thursday to attend the annual Earthquake Summit. And we're hoping to get some valuable information for Williamson County from that summit. And lastly, March 21st at 10 a.m. is our quarterly LEPC meeting, and you are all welcome to attend.
Thank you, Brian.
So we've been busy.
That 21st, what time of day is that?
10 a.m., sir. I will send you an email, but I just wanted to bring it up today. Do you guys have any questions for me? Great, thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're being so active. Terrific.
Oh, one more thing, I apologize. On one of the things Commissioner Razor mentioned is he has challenged me to find unique and important ways to share information using HyperReach. And one of the things we did this last time is we're going to start incorporating the highway department's road closures on HyperReach. He educated us on social media, and I forget exactly the percentages, but he gave us a percentage of if you push something on Facebook and Twitter, it only reaches a low percentage of your populace. So we're going to start pushing those directly on HyperReach. And I spoke to the gentleman in the back of the room about spring planting season. So April 15th, we're going to issue a HyperReach that says, hey guys, just be aware, spring planting season, you know, we're going to put a lot of farm equipment on the road, just be aware. And then we'll do the same thing in the fall, just to kind of, you know, get that information out there. And it's just going to be a constant information of, hey, remember, be safe, be safe, be safe.
On that note, Brian, do they still have the highway safety days out there at the pavilion?
Yes, they sure do, yes.
Okay, do you know what the date is on that?
Yeah, last year it was in the fall, and I would assume it would be coming up this fall as well.
Okay,
So
I
that's back to in-person
Did you do
too.
that last year? With safety days?
I wasn't here when they did the highway safety days, but if we're invited, we will definitely participate.
For some reason, I always thought it was in the spring.
It used to be. Yes, it did. It wasn't.
I know that we should.
Prior. The COVID years kind of changed the,
Gotcha.
it was virtual there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
No, recess and reconvene.
All right.
Motion recess and convene.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Tim Atkinson.
Yes,
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Reeser.
Yeah.
thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Appreciate the information.
What?
Yes.
I know, is someone gonna